What's up, y'all? This is your boy Gerald. It is Sunday, the 17th of July, 2016. How is everybody doing? You are on the back side of your weekend, and I hope that wherever you are well. I know that as of late, you may have questioned or pondered, like, why is Gerald putting out all these videos as of late? And simply put, I'm just following what is put on my spirit. But last night, while I was at work, I put a video out. And when I cut my camera option on my phone, I felt a slight resistance. It wasn't out of fear, but what I needed to say, it was not complete. Because if you guys realize by now, or haven't, nothing is wrote. Everything as you hear it is how it's conveyed. Because we are spiritual beings first. And I believe that I'm just a vessel that He is using, one of the multitude of people that are on this planet to convey the message to the intended ear, the intended heart and mind. And when I had started to record, um, see, I reside in Virginia Beach, and right now the weather's been pretty up and down. It's probably been that way wherever you reside. And the moment that I cut that camera on and I had committed within my heart, first, the clouds broke. And I knew that for me was validation that this was something that was going to reach the intended person, because that person is in a crossroads and they are hanging on the thread of making a decision that is going to make an impact on their lives. So, at a minimum, when it comes to you, it's no secret. I want you to have the life intended. And what I mean by that is, see, when you took your first breath, which was the gift of life that God breathed into your lungs, your legacy was already written. Everything that you experience has been chronicled in the heavens. And the things that we go through as people, as mortals, as human beings, they're being tested by the devil. He's got to do that. Now, you got to understand, you're dealing with an entity that was God's right hand man, so to speak. He was God's number one angel. So, all knowing, he knew he was also deemed as the most beautiful. So, does it surprise you where we are in 2016 as a society? We value beauty. We are drawn to the things that are alluring. The proverbial question mark of desire and lust. These are all tools that the devil has. It also lets you know that his presence is near too, because keep in mind, demons are real. I don't understand why, as advanced as we are as a society, we keep We hold a platform of, if I don't see it in my hand, it's not real. But yet, when you go to sleep every night, why does your heart continue to beat? Why do you continue to take in this precious air? Why does your brain continue to function? It doesn't. It doesn't have to. It is not guaranteed. That is a blessing in itself, life. That is why anything that is of living form, it also has its form of blood too, because life is in the blood. Now, let me come on around the corner and put this out too, because I know a lot of you probably may have said, wow, every time I turn around, you're popping something, you're dropping something on your channel. Well, y'all, for one, I listen. I don't question. And if anything, it's because you guys matter. You do. I say that because I know that there's somebody that's going to leave home and not going to make it back today. Someone may have left home last night and haven't come home yet. We don't know the hour and the time when we are called home. So at a minimum, this is validation to maybe some of your thought processes. Maybe it might have been things you may have been thinking about, but you were fearful to ask because you think that, well, you know what? If I bring this up, I'm going to be looked at like I'm crazy or I'm unfit. No, you're not. What is crazy is that you do not see the best you and invest in yourself. Because, see, you can't buy another you. You can't. That's why you always see this. You see all these people running, trying to grab that star and want to be famous and stuff like this. Deep down inside, they all possess an insecurity of validation. They do. And to stay with the status quo, they must make a choice to defile themselves. So you got to understand the greatest creation ever done was you. You were made perfect. But yet you were still given the right to enhance yourself within yourself. Because guess what? God did not make a mistake how he created you. So let's go back and say this. Why are you putting fear and insecurity? Because you have a mole. Because you have blotches. Because you have curves. Or your body tone or structure doesn't meet the status quo of what is deemed acceptable. Why? You feel a certain kind of way, so you feel that you must add on to be accepted. What did I tell y'all, queens? I've been echoing this from day one. Your crown is your hair. That is your glory. Don't you realize when a woman or a man makes a conscious decision to grow their hair, you know what that shows? Number one, they have discipline. Two, they have commitment. Three, they have fortitude to persevere through the seasons. That's why when you see somebody with natural hair, it's beautiful. It's unique because it's from them. Because you got to understand anything that is found within you will come out. That's why you see this, unfortunately, sometimes too. You may see somebody that's appealing to the eye, and then you will have access to them on a direct level to get a feel of their personality, to see and come to find out that their personality is very, very dark. And then when you look at that person again, you don't see them in the same light. The reason for that is just validation to let you know once again, whatever is found inside your spirit will come out. That's how it works. So when you see that young boy being reckless, or you see that young girl being promiscuous, just know they're broken. Something inside them is not where it needs to be. Something that they long for, they're searching for. Now, at the end of the day, your road is your journey. Some roads have a way of coming full circle. Some roads will have you reconnect with people that you once knew. And some roads will take you where you should have been all along, like a HOV. But you know what? That road is really your purpose. That's your direction, your true entitlement or lack thereof. See, that's why people come back into your life. They do. They do that for two reasons. One, did you learn what this experience was? Or better yet, what was not? I know there may be somebody right now that you've actually convinced yourself that you don't want to have nothing to do with LOVE, love. You say, Gerald, I don't want to have nothing to do with it because every time I stick my big toe into the water of emotion, I always get burned. You know why that occurs? Do you? It occurs to see how bad you want it. But more or less, let you know the difference between quality and quantity. That's why there are so many grown women, seasoned in their age, as well as young girls, sharing a commonality between the generations. See, somewhere along the road, there was propaganda put out there that, you know, you don't have to invest in you. You can use manipulation. You can deprive logic from who you are just by your appearance, and you'll be okay. Other than the devil convincing man that he did not exist, the second deception was for the woman not to love herself, to not value her grace. And that's why now, more than ever, women are under attack, spiritually, unfortunately, physically, especially in my community. There is an overabundance of young women having to deal with rape, having to deal with incest, having to deal with neglect. And we're getting to a point now that there's so much underlying hate going on and not healing going on that if you happen to be a man, you might as well have a poison sign on the top of your head, because a lot of women nowadays, when you're out in public, you look at the ground instead of having your head up. And that's just nothing but an indication that there was a man, actually a boy 9 times out of 10, that should have protected you and unfortunately took advantage of you. But just know this. See, the devil's work is not done. And I believe sometimes when these acts of injustice have taken place, there is a higher agenda going on. But see, this also applies for our young little boys too. Because see, let's not get it twisted. Society wants to feel safe by making the male gender docile. They can deal with you if you have a feminine disposition. That is a lie. So there's a lot of mind games going on. There's a lot of social engineering going on. You see it in programming. You hear it in the music. This is all media directed, y'all. And it is time released. But see, the common denominator is that there's no love in that environment. It is void. God is not in that either. So guess what? The habitual pain and cycle continues. I know there's plenty of you right now. Deep down inside, you wish you had that person. It might have been your parent. It might have been your daddy. It might have been your mama. Somebody of significance. You had cried a many a night and said, why can't you come get me? Don't you realize I'm in pain? But guess what? Because the deception is so thick, so dark, the person has already been exiled out of your life and they have no clue. Communication has stopped. No matter what they may have done to continue to have the line of communication there. This happens to a lot of our families. This happens a lot. Those parents who have children compared to those who don't. See, there's this bias that a lot of non-custodial parents don't give a damn about their kids, which is further from the truth. But what ends up happening is the psychology of the child is based off of what they see in their environment. So if evidence shows you're not there and it's consistent, you're going to assume that that is an accurate account. Far from it. Because one thing that I've also come to understand about this, love does not die, y'all. Because love is nothing but an extension of God. He is love. He is favor. He is mercy. So guess what? The devil don't like that. He don't. So he gonna do whatever he has to do to delay you becoming who you are destined to be down the road. So does it surprise you when you meet that acquaintance and they introduce you to something you're foreign to? It might be that person that is getting high. It might be that person that is an alcoholic. You ain't drinking like that, but they drink around that and they influence you in your behaviors. How about that promiscuous person? Every time they want to do something, they want to drag you into something new. Why? Because it takes the distraction off of their brokenness and puts the focus on you. Do you realize how many people that are walking around our beloved planet don't realize how promiscuous they are? They have actually taking a position of, well, I wouldn't have been doing this or that if I had this, but don't have the courage to speak the truth of what they need. Why is that? Because what's at stake is you. You think you were birthed on this planet to sleep with hundreds of men that only will give you trinkets, fractions of what your respect and worth is all about? King, let me talk to you. I understand that socially it is supported that as you grow into your manhood, you are supposed to sow your oats. They say, sow your royal oats. But what they don't tell you is they want you to contaminate your spiritual seed. Because see, if you don't see your worth, you ain't going to worry about who you give it to. And keep in mind, demons are real. Demons love looking for people that do not have a connection with themselves. So let's sit the spirituality aspect out. Let's sit it to the side for a second, okay? Just literally, if you don't have responsibility for yourself, you'll get caught slipping. You'll be preyed upon. You'll be taken advantage. And the habitual cycle continues until you learn the lesson of what not to do. So let's spin it. What if you were reared in an environment where that was the norm? You're not going to know the difference compared to what you really need compared to what is shown. And you're going to embrace that as your truth. Many people get caught up and deceived off of belief systems that were inherited through their upbringing. You can't fault them, but you can hold them accountable the moment they realize what is going on. See, that's the one thing you gotta love about God. He made you so intricate with your brain. He gives you cognitive thought. So you could go through something and reference it later. Why? Because he wants you to embrace the insight from the experience, but he wants to also give you the wisdom. That's how he does. So I understand right now, there may be somebody right now, you sitting here and say, well, look here, Gerald, I hear what you're saying, but guess what? Tomorrow's Monday and I don't have a job. I had a job last week. Sure did. And I hear what you're saying, but right now that don't matter because my money is short. Let me tell you something. You got benefits, right? I mean, I'm talking to the people that are above board. You are handling your bit. You were doing everything before. You just missed a small detail. Maybe this is a season right now where you're supposed to be humble. Not supposed to assume anything. You speak it into existence. That's what manifesting is. See, y'all, words have power. You do understand that, right? If words didn't have power, how could you influence someone to think? How about to grow? How to learn? But see, those people that really know that don't know. A lot of them will use that as a weapon to distract, to destroy, to manipulate you. That's why when you interact with them, you're perplexed because they don't know what truth is, even if you put it in their hands. This is love, y'all. This ain't shade. This is not a time to be offended. because when I end this, I have some, I'm, there's something, keep listening to what I'm saying. There's a reason why I'm putting this video out. So right now, I could easily say from my perspective, they're taking the blinds off. There are things that have been hidden, ain't. Things that were systematic are automatic now. And I keep trying to find clarity because I stay prayed up and I hope that you do. First of all, if you don't have a prayer life, you're not living. You're not. Because to have a prayer life, you have to tap into your intimacy. I know somebody's saying, well, Gerald, I thought intimacy is when you're having sex. No, intimacy is when you have a connection within yourself. That's why when you have intimacy with yourself, everything is heightened because it's pure. You would also understand the difference between having a sexual relationship and a relationship that's built off of intimacy. It's no different than having your favorite ice cream flavor. And intimacy is the sprinkle. It makes it better. That's why a lot of times you see this. Your sex drive is through the freaking roof. You can't get enough. We also know this in the community as being thirsty. What you thirst for is to feel whole. What you thirst for is to feel emotionally safe. Why do you think people bed hop so much? Because they think that the action will define the perfect match. Your perfect mate will be a spiritual one the moment that you decide to have a spiritual connection with God. That is what, I mean, think about it. Think about it this way. If God was not so great, why would so many people put energy and effort to attack him? Why does it matter? Someone said it. I wish I could credit them because I don't remember, but they made a point. You got all these deities in the world, all these deities of the world, but those who are non-believers attack God. Why? Because he is the great I am. Without him, there would not be no us. And really, when you think about it, that ain't nothing but calculated hating too. And what is hate? Hate is nothing but ignorance of not knowing. And is made by fear. You know, fear, finding everything's a reality. And the truth is, you're missing something. So I got to put it out there. Because, see, I am 46 years old, y'all. I am. And I know I spent my last 30 years. I know at least since my teens. What I saw, where we were going as a society, there were things that I saw and experienced, and I knew always brought back to my conscience of this ain't right. And I noticed back in the 80s, people were getting too comfortable of turning a blind eye, especially in our community. This is way before the don't snitch became. But come to find out, anytime you turn a blind eye on the things that should matter, you're basically living the lie yourself. So Let's fast forward 2016. And there are those that believe that the agendas of the genders are shifting. That is nothing but an illusion. They want you to believe that. And yes, I know that there are certain communities that feel that now that they have a platform and they're recognized around the world, that's all that matters. But don't you realize we're living in the last days, y'all? So statuses and affiliations ain't going to matter. It's not going to matter. If anything that matters, you should know this. Those who were first will be last, and those who were last will be made first. Why? Because the truth of who you are. That's why the worst thing you can do is get caught up in a status. How about a possession? Doesn't matter. It doesn't benefit you. Oh, well, I know him. That's why I had to learn myself. Don't get caught up on what comes out of a person's mouth. Go off of their actions, and you will find your truth. You will also see someone's lack of integrity too, because you will see the agenda. Stop scratching your head and say, well, no, it was me. I misunderstood that. Because you have people that are bold and brazen, which I mentioned in the video a couple videos ago. The worst thing someone can ever do knowingly is to look you in your face and lie to you. Because when a person chooses to have that position, they basically said your time, what you possess, how about your existence is not worth the information that you request. So they don't value your life. Because if they did, why would they put it at risk? Why? It's because they don't see the value in theirs. I hope I'm answering somebody, because I know that somebody's going through some relationship stuff right now. And what you don't realize is, see, you do understand, y'all, when you are intimate, well, no, let me call a spade a spade. When you have sex with someone, whoever has the stronger spirit, the weaker spirit will take on the traits of the strong. That's why you will see this too. You may have a friend, a confidant, and their disposition is a certain way, and you're trying to figure it out because you know that something's not right, because that's not who you've grown to know. You know what you're witnessing? You're witnessing the spirit of their last lover looking through them, their treats, because that's what soul ties do. They look for people that are void. You don't have a relationship with God like you should? Good, I'll just move on in. I'll have you doing things you shouldn't be doing. All the while, you are desecrating your body. You are assaulting your mind. And you are embracing things that will not enhance your life, but set it back. That's not your life. You do understand that, right? So, I mean, I understand that people, you're saying, well, Gerald, I'm torn because I love this man. I will give my all, even though I'm in pain. I can't leave him. You know why you're doing that? You're really doing that to make up for what you did in your last one. So you're doing a servitude because you know that in the back of your mind, the things that you did to get into that relationship, or the platforms that led to that relation. See, that's where the torment comes in, because see, that's how the devil do. Devil will bring the person you want That's why you always hear words have power. Think, and it doesn't have to fall from your lips. Think about it just from your mind. Think about it. Think about that one time you were in a place, you weren't with somebody, or you were in conversation with someone. And you say, you know what? And in your mind, you might not even spoke it, but you say, like, I wish I had a man. And then bam, guess who walks into your life? He looks like everything you ever desire. Oh yeah, he's a panty melter. And the loving is good too. That's what seals the deal. And then the pain comes. You find out he's not married. I mean, he's married, or he's got a bunch of kids. Or you find out he is financially irresponsible, or the platform that was the bait was all a lie. Unfortunately, medically, he has something that will have an impact on you. This happens for two reasons: to validate your free will, but also to bring focus on, hey, like spiritually, do you really want this? Is this really what you asked for? And that's when the pain comes in. This is when the disappointment becomes depression. You know why most people suffer from depression? Because they have the inability to speak their truth. Otherwise, why would you be depressed? That's why alcohol, drugs, sexuality all generate billions of dollars just to facilitate the impulse. Because see, that's what that devil wants. He loves a person that's not grounded. Doesn't matter how many times the angels have come and say, hey, this is not what you want. I'm gonna delay you from fulfilling that. I'm gonna bring some setback, because angels do that, y'all. Sometimes angels will put you in a position so you're not able to mess yourself up too. They're trying to protect you. You know, a lot of people get that twisted with demons. See, demons will do everything in their power to have you snared. You know, like a net. Don't matter how much you wiggle. You just, until you decide to have that conversation with God, you ain't going nowhere. And eventually you'll tire yourself out and you'll take a position to give up. That's what they want. And they really love the fact that if you have a connection with your spirituality and you decided to stray from that, like, oh, really? Oh, aren't you the guy that used to pray every day and now you running around chasing that big booty girl and trying to get a sniff, and meanwhile your money is, you're doing things that you shouldn't do because she's distracting you from yourself. These are tricks that the devil uses, because you got to understand, demons got to stay employed, y'all. They do, because if an unemployed demon is a demon that is in torment, and they're not going to be in torment when they can use you. That's why when you have had those situations with somebody and like, why are they acting this way? Because they got a dark spirit in them. But what you don't realize is you are under spiritual attack, because see, they have access to your life. So that goes to say this: judge your friends correctly. I didn't say have a judging heart, but take notice of who you allow to walk with. If they never, ever mention God in any way or exhibit any type of spiritual connection, save your heart the damage. Remove yourself from the association, because that person's there to distract you and delay your life in some capacity. And plus, what it boils down to is they will never be loyal to you because they're not loyal to themselves. That's why people cheat so much, because cheaters are searching for what they need within themselves the whole time through through the bodies of other people. But see, the commonality is that they share the same mindset. That's why cheaters do what they do, because they really broken. They want to feel whole. They want to feel safe, but they have no connection with God at all. And that's why so many people think that, well, judge me on my merits, but they never say judge me by my spirit. Why? Because if they did, they would be humbled. They would. Now, I took too long, and that just came out of me because I know there's somebody right now, you're dealing with infidelity issues, or you may have had a revelation on some behavior that had been going on in your direct family, and you see and know the truth. This is all a test. This is, if anything, where you need to have that conversation with God. You need to check back with him. There is your conversation is your conversation. There is no protocol on how you talk to God. You talk to him respectably, but you talk to him just like I'm talking to you. And you tell him what you're afraid of. Well, he already knows. He wants to see if you have the courage to say it yourself. You ask him ask him to help your life. And then forgive those who have wronged you. You do understand when you hold hatred, resentment, spite in your behavior, which is nothing but a reflection of your spirit, guess what? Those are going to be your lessons until you decide to come to terms to see your strength to change them. But keep this in mind. Anything that has been wrongfully done, somehow you had to sign off on it. Hey, you ain't got to like it. It's the truth. Somehow you signed off for that lesson, and you're going through it. So now, what is being asked is you be honest with yourself. Stop running away from yourself. Start loving yourself. Listen here, you're not going to find happiness with your legs cocked up, doing something strange for some change. You're not going to find that. And you see this all the time because the first effect is they age. Your temple is being attacked. So guess what? You age before your time because you don't see the mortality and the blessing of your life. So guess what? Time is not good to you. And that's why when you notice people who do, they don't. Because they love themselves. So this is why I'm putting this out for each and every one of y'all. You're going to see things, you're going to have people come out, and they're going to try to influence your behavior. That's why they're on TV, to influence a person near you. And just know, if they don't have a relationship with God, they're doing it for one. They're doing it for that money. So they've already sold their soul. They have already done it. And since they know that they've already done it, they're trying to get as many people as they can to follow that road too. Do not compromise your self-worth. Don't. Queens, I told you, society wants you to be the prostitute. Look at the fashion industry. They've been doing this hardcore for the last 10 plus years. Who would ever thought that the fashion industry and the night walker have the same style dress? The stripper gets more props than the educated. So does it matter? Does it surprise you why there's so many angry, broken women that want to go under the martyr or the banner of feminists? A feminist is nothing but a broken woman who does not know her own voice. She is mad because there's a man that has significance in her life, may have been her father, her brother, uncle, or lover, that should have been there to protect them, but instead hurt them. And over periods of time, they've built a resistance, built a resistance inside them that they actually think they are men. They won't admit it. That's why you see so many women sleeping with women, but yet somebody's got to play the role of the man. Don't you understand, Queen? It doesn't matter how much money you spend to go get a fake one. It will never hold a candle to the real thing. And you deserve the real thing, a spiritual one. Now, let me get off of that because I ain't got to tell you this. Once again, the people that want the best for you should be leading by example. And if they don't have a relationship with God, then you already know who they're rolling with. Don't get caught up on the allegory. Watch their behavior. Look at their history. If their behavior matches their history, that's the same person. Just a bigger platform. So for my family, my parents out there, it's your responsibility to protect your children. That's why it's always said a house that prays together stays together, because it's true. Now, lastly, I'm putting this video out because it's a long time overdue. I have dedicated my life, my time, and my heart to each and every one of you. Why? Because your life is priceless. 2, I don't have an agenda. I want you to have the life intended. 3, I hope that anything that I've said will inspire the best you for the world to treasure. So where does that leave me? Gerald has to continue to live his life. I have to continue down my walk and journey. And pretty much like a little boy with a balloon, continue what God wants me to do. So with that being said, this will be my last video right now for an indefinite period of time. It's not that I don't want to do it, but I deserve to show you the best me. So think of it this way. Just like that caterpillar finally made it to that leaf to have that cocoon. If it's divinely meant, that black butterfly will fly. I love each and every one of you. I don't just say it to be a catchphrase. I say it from one spiritual person to the real you. Be safe. Be blessed. It's time for you to stop running from yourself and let the healing in. How many people we got buried, y'all, that look like you and I? And I'm just saying that figuratively because when you think about it, we're all connected. We all related to each other, every one of us. But I don't know why we have allowed the devil to divide us as a human race. Because bottom line, even though they don't want to tell you this, we are made in his image. And so if we're made in his image and everything starts where? Don't let your melanin fool you. Don't do that. Don't you realize where there is less sun, there is recessive melanin? But don't get caught up in the distraction. Do the research yourself. How about research yourself? How about love yourself? Stop running from yourself. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, for that, it helps me discern mine. In the intended time and moment, you'll see me again. Only difference is I'll be made new. You're worth it. Be blessed.